Magic Treehouse, a Merlin mission. Carnival at Candlelight. Chapter 5. Lorenzo. Jack and Annie ran through the square, dodging dancers, fortune tellers, and acrobats. They didn't stop until they were hidden in the middle of the crowd watching a puppet show. As Jack tried to catch his breath, he looked around at the pirate and animal and clown costumes. He was glad now that he and Annie were dressed in silly outfits too. When they looked at each other, they laughed nervously. "Maybe we shouldn't have skipped ahead," said Jack. "Yeah, you were right," said Annie. "We should have been more patient. Let's go back to the part about the painter, Tipolo." Jack nodded. "I think we should go to his house," he said. "Maybe he's there after all. Maybe that clown had the wrong information." "I hope so," said Annie. "The clown said Tipolo lives near the church of San Felice," said Jack. He pulled out their map and studied it. "Okay, we're here in St. Mark's Square, and we have to get there." He traced the route with his finger. "Got it. Let's go. Stay in the shadows in case those guards come looking for us." Jack stuffed the book into his backpack. Annie grabbed his hand, and together they squeezed through the carnival crowd until they came to an alley off the square. The wind was blowing harder as Jack and Annie headed down the shadowy alley. Then another, then walked between rows of tightly packed shops, cafes, and houses. As they walked farther from St. Mark's Square, the streets became less crowded. After a while, they came to a small footbridge that crossed a canal. As they hurried over the bridge, Jack noticed water rushing onto the sidewalks. "What's going on with the water?" he said. "Let's ask her," said Annie. She pointed to a young woman locking up a cafe. The woman wore a blue mask and a lacy purple dress. Water was swirling around her high black shoes. "Excuse me," said Annie. "Do you know why there's so much water in the streets?" "Oh, there has been much rain in the mountains," said the young woman. "It all washes down to the lagoon. It makes the water very high." "Is that dangerous?" asked Jack. The woman smiled. "Oh, no," she said. "We often have high water here in Venice. You shouldn't worry. You should go watch the fireworks on the waterfront near St. Mark's. Everyone is going there." "Thanks," said Annie. The woman waved and went on her way. "I guess we can stop worrying about water," Annie said to Jack. "Yeah," said Jack, but he couldn't help worrying as he saw a clump of seaweed wash past them down the alley. As Jack and Annie walked toward the church of San Felice, a bell started to chime. Jack counted the bongs. 11. Another bell started to toll. Jack counted 10 bongs. "What time do you think it is, really?" he asked. "I don't understand." "Patience, remember," said Annie. "One thing at a time. We just have to find Tipolo's house." Soon they came to the small church of San Felice. The square next to the church was empty except for an old man walking a small fat dog. "Good evening, little clowns," the man said with a friendly smile. "Why aren't you at the waterfront by St. Mark's Square? I'd be there myself, except Rosa is afraid of fireworks." He smiled at his chubby dog. "Actually, we're trying to find the house of a painter named Tipolo," said Jack. "Oh, he is my neighbor," said the old man. "He lives there." He pointed to a dark house off the square. "But you won't find him home." "I know. We heard he's away," said Jack. "We were just wondering if he was coming back soon." "I fear not," said the man. "Tipolo told everyone that he would be gone for many months. But you should get along to the fireworks on the waterfront now. Everyone in Venice will be there to see them. They're quite magnificent on the last night of the carnival." "Thanks," said Jack. The old man waved, and he and Rosa walked slowly across the square. The church bell began to sound. It bonged 11 times. "Excuse me, sir," Jack called. "All the clocks in Venice tell different times. Which one is right?" "None," the old man called. "That is one of the wonderful things about our city. Venice is timeless." The man laughed, and he and Rosa went inside a small yellow house. Jack sat down on a bench in the square. He put his head in his hands. Annie sat next to him. "I guess we do have to skip to Polo," she said. "What's the next thing Merlin tells us to do?" Jack sighed. He pulled out the magician's letter and read the next 2 lines. "At midnight 2 men will tell you the time. To the top of their tower hurry and climb." "Oh, great," said Jack. How will we know if it's really midnight? The man just said none of the clocks are right because Venice is timeless. According to Merlin, 2 men will tell us the right time, said Annie. 2 men who own some kind of tower we have to climb. Right, said Jack, but that makes no sense either. Who are they? How are we supposed to find them? We'll have to skip that part too. We're skipping our whole mission, whatever it is. A terrible disaster is about to happen to some grand lady of the lagoon, and we have no idea who she is. We don't know what the disaster is. We don't know where to find the ruler of the seas, or how to find a painter named Topolo, or even how to tell the right time. We're completely failing Merlin's test. Calm down. We just have to be patient, said Annie. Everything will make sense soon. How soon? Said Jack. He felt cold and wet and miserable. Very soon, said Annie. In fact, I think I see the light now inside Topolo's house. She stood up. I definitely see a light. Annie ran over to the small house off the square. She peeped through the window. Jack, she called in a loud whisper. Come here. Jack walked over to her. Someone's painting in there, said Annie. Through the window, Jack saw a candle burning in a corner of the room. He saw canvases and pots of paint. He saw a boy standing at an easel. The boy was painting a picture on a large canvas. He's just a kid, said Jack with disappointment. He can't be Tipuo. So what, said Annie. Maybe he can help us. She tapped on the glass. The boy looked up. He carried his candle to the window and opened it. He had reddish-brown hair and big eyes. Hello, he said. Are you looking for someone? I'm Annie, and this is my brother Jack, said Annie. We're visiting Venice, and we are hoping to find a painter named Topolo. You have just done so, the boy said. My name is Lorenzo Topolo. Lorenzo had a very serious manner. You're a painter, too? asked Annie. Yes, as you can see, I'm painting right now. I help my father and my older brother with their paintings, said Lorenzo, and when they're gone, I paint my own. I will even miss the last night of the carnival to paint. But why are you not there? We're on a mission, said Annie. We just escaped from the palace prison, and we got caught looking for the ruler of the seas. The ruler of the seas? Said Lorenzo. Why were you looking in the palace? The ruler of the seas is right here. What? Said Jack. The ruler of the seas is here? Lorenzo smiled. Then he walked to a large covered canvas propped against the wall. He pulled off the cloth cover. He held up his candle to show the painting of a beautiful woman resting her hand on the head of a golden lion. A man was giving coins to the woman. The man had a bare chest, a rugged face, long dark hair, and a white beard. Behind him was a 3-pronged fishing spear. My father has been working on this painting for some time, said Lorenzo. He pointed at the bearded man. 'Tis Neptune. Neptune, said Jack. He's one of the gods in the Roman mythology, right? Yes, the father of the seas, said Lorenzo. Oh, we thought the ruler of the seas was the ruler of Venice, said Annie. We thought he lived in the palace on St. Mark's Square. Lorenzo laughed. Oh, no, the palace is just the home of our city's human ruler, he said. The true ruler of all the seas is Neptune. Where does Neptune live, Lorenzo? Annie asked. He lives beneath the water in a beautiful palace made of coral and sparkling jewels, said Lorenzo, but only a few people can actually see Neptune. Like who? asked Annie. Those with imaginations, like my father, my brother, and myself, said Lorenzo. We have heard the waves around Neptune roar like wild bulls. We have seen his fishing spear rising high above the surface of the sea, gleaming in the moonlight. That sounds great, said Annie. Yeah, great, Jack said pointedly, politely. You guys must have really good imaginations. Thanks, Lorenzo. He turned to Annie. I'm going to look at the research book some more. He walked back to the bench and pulled out their book. He felt totally discouraged. Neptune wasn't a real person. They'd come to another dead end. Annie stayed by the window. Lorenzo, one more question, she said. Why is Neptune giving a gift to that lady? Neptune is offering the riches of the sea to Venice. answered Lorenzo. So the lady in the painting is supposed to be the city of Venice? Said Annie. Yes, said Lorenzo. This is how my father thinks of Venice. She is the grand lady of the lagoon. Jack looked up from the book. He felt goosebumps on his skin. Thanks, Lorenzo, said Annie. You helped us a lot. You're welcome, Annie, said Lorenzo. Good night. Then he closed the window. Jack! Jack, said Annie, hurrying to him. The grand lady of the lagoon is Venice. I know, I heard, said Jack. Now I understand our mission, said Annie. We have to save Venice from a terrible disaster. We have to save all of Venice.